Hi Team We Run, Coach Alexa here, coach for Reading, South Oxfordshire and online. Just continuing a little bit of an ongoing conversation around mindfulness and our brains and running. And I wanted to just introduce a model that is used in all sorts of ways, from sports performance through to improving your performance at work, through to looking at management of mental health conditions. And that is that we have three states that our brains can switch between. This is at a very high level, called drive, threat and soothe. So I thought I'd talk through these three states just briefly and talk about how it's useful to just be aware of which state you're in and balance out the time spent in the different states, because as may become obvious when I start talking about it, I think we tend to spend a little bit too much of our time possibly in threat and in drive. So drive state is when we're kind of motivated to do stuff, when we're getting stuff done. It comes perhaps from, thousands of years ago where our brains are motivating us to go and find food, find water, find shelter, protect our families, keep ourselves safe. So all of those sort of inbuilt tendencies we have to kind of look after ourselves, basically. But then they also, once we've kind of met those bare minimum criteria of food, water, shelter, safety, it also motivates us to, be successful, be good at what we do, get through the stuff that we need to do in the day. So my drive system, as an example, is very, very to-do list driven. If I write a list of things on a bit of paper, I'm incredibly driven to work my way through the list of things until completed. To be good at your job is that, the desire to be good at what you do is the drive system. And we also use it in sport, don't we? To be the desire to maybe run a longer distance or improve our time or have other fitness goals or health goals. If we can tie in that drive system to kind of motivate us and really feel and see the benefits to us or to others of doing that, then that's a really, really useful tool. So we can see how that can be really useful, perhaps on race day, to have, sort of positive reasons for getting our head down and performing well. The threat system is a system that is built to keep us safe. It is there to scan for threats, for things, again, going back thousands of years, might have been out to kill us, predators, sort of dangerous situations. So we do have a part of our brain that is really quite skilled at scanning for threats in an environment and then reacting very quickly, almost instinctively to them. So these days in modern society, most of us are lucky enough, or many of us, let's not say most of us, many of us are lucky enough to be in a position where we're not fearing for our lives on a daily basis. Here in the UK, the majority of us are lucky enough, not to live in those sorts of situations. And this is perhaps where the threat system can then start getting a little bit busy with scanning for threats in areas that aren't really threats. So it might be a comment from a co-worker at work that's undermined us and makes us upset or anxious or angry. It might be somebody cuts us up when we're out in our car or out on our bikes. It might be that in a race situation, we've got a bit of a fear of failure, and that fear of failure is driving that threat system, and it ups our amount of cortisol and adrenaline. It puts us in that fight, flight or freeze mode, and we react quite instinctively in that mode. We don't necessarily react thoughtfully. So it can be very useful. It can save us from serious stuff. But I think often, particularly when we're stressed, so when we've got a really busy or overwhelming job, or there's difficult situations going on in life, we're kind of reacting to that. And when we're in that threat state, it's very, very difficult to try and take a step back and calm and pause. And moving on to the taking a step back, calming and pausing, the other equally as important system that I think we ignore a lot, particularly in sort of North American and European countries, is soothe. So that ability to calm ourselves, to relax ourselves and indulge, well, not indulge, but make sure that we actually look after ourselves, put our own oxygen and masks on first before helping others. And it's also the system for creating deep bonds with other humans. So those people in our families and those people that we love, our friends. So it is the system of sort of love for self and others, and caring for self and others. And it's a system that we can use kind of consciously almost, or train ourselves to use. And this is the link with mindfulness. Train ourselves to notice when we're been in drive for too long, we're in threat and we didn't intend to be, and that's why we're reacting and behaving in this way, and perhaps deliberately try and instigate that soothe system just to bring ourselves back into balance again. So again, that pre-race nerves situation, you might find a few thoughts of the things that might go wrong or what you're worried about, but deliberately trying to enact a few little techniques to get yourself into soothe system, be breathing, or spotting the things that you can see, hear, smell, taste and touch around you, getting yourself into the present. A little bit of self-care stuff can really help balance out the other two of our kind of mental zones, I guess. So I hope that's useful. I hope that gives a little bit of a reason why some of this mindful stuff is useful for life and for running. Happy running.